Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of WDL Recap. This week we have the PRs for the Zoroark division, our NatDex division. And today I am joined by my co-host, JSauce. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going pretty well. Glad you guys are listening to the future WDL Season 3 champ and myself. I'm just really glad to be here. You better get used to me because I'll probably be on most of these. I'm not going to lie.
I wouldn't be fun if you weren't.
And yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at judging, so I'll try not to be too harsh.
Yeah, I'm a very judgmental person, so this should be very easy for me. Alright. So, just to show you guys what we're working with, I want to order the teams in tiers, and we will also order the teams within the tiers, if at all possible, but it'll just be a general idea of how we feel about the teams. So champion material, these are teams that we think could go all the way. Will make playoffs, these are teams that are going to be in the top half of the bracket. A few holes, these are teams that we think could just be improved just a bit, and then they'd be in that will make playoffs category. And then get out of the kitchen, this is for y'all who cooked just a little too hard, or just a little too little.
Stop fucking cooking.
So to start us off, this is Shadow's team, Sai's team. How are we feeling about this one?
I don't know. I always get the layer picks. I don't really know how to build around Dragapult. I love the first 3 or 4 picks. Okidoji with Terra is very underrated in my opinion. But then I get you're on a wheel, but I feel like Arboliva almost would have went undrafted, even with Terra.
Yeah, I feel like we could have left Arboliva a bit longer, but to be fair, I think he picked what you could have picked in those slots later anyways.
Exactly. Like he got immense value on the next couple wheels between Kilowattrel, Crocodile Cleavor. Definitely made up for the Arboliva pick. Mm-hmm. And then there's Cryogonal, which I'm starting to not love them on, but I completely understand it.
I get why it's here, right? We need a spinner.
Exactly, and Shadow told me that they really like Cryogonal and feel as if they know how to use it, so I trust.
Yeah, I trust in that. We don't have an ice either, right?
Yeah, we don't. Ground immunity is nice for Heatran, because Kilowattrel dies to like any rock move ever.
Yeah.
Then Hatchrim's there as maybe just a Magic Bounce Mon. It clicks Nuzzle, it clicks Magic Bounce, or it has Magic Bounce.
This is going to come to like 1 or 2 games a season, and it'll do things. I love the Miltank too.
It's better than drafting a Mon that comes to 0 games a season.
Exactly.
And then Miltank, I am pretty neutral on. I've only seen it a couple times. Never used it, but I know Wish loves it, so
just a super reliable rocker.
Yeah. Overall, I
like this team. This is definitely at the very minimum a tier 2 team, if not a tier 1 team.
Yeah, I
would put this at the top of tier 2 for now, and maybe we bump it up.
Questioning the immediate offense potential.
You're right.
I feel like Okidoji would just love to set up once. Same with Primarina. Crocodile would love to be like Adamant. Mm-hmm. Cleavor likes to be Bandit or SD. You know, there's just.
So I see what you're saying, and I do agree. But I think we also have decent choice item users. Like you can be Specs or Bandit Pulse. You can be like even a Specs Prima. You could be Bandit Cleavor pretty easily. I've seen Bandit Crook. Like, there's nothing that jumps out at you immediately, but I think he can make it work for sure.
That's true. I'm just a little skeptical of seeing a team like this not have one Mon that makes you jump out of your seat or like have to prep for offensively, because as somebody that brings choice items every single game pretty much, it can definitely restrict you, and it can be a bad thing most games. So there's going to be games you don't run any choice Mons, and I just love to see that back up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. Tier 2 team.
I will say as well, we mentioned, like we kind of harped on the Arboliva. I don't hate this Mon at all. I think it's a great second Terra Captain. I think it's a great Mon. I think we were just both on the same page about maybe he took it too early. But just if we took this team in a vacuum, I think it's great on this team. I think it's great in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it.
They know what they wanted, and they weren't risking it getting it picked. So
yeah, absolutely. You want that grassy terrain for the heat red.
The bottom half of the dock absolutely loves this team.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, not having a secondary fairy resist is sketchy, but then Okidoji loves poison type Terra. Arboliva can easily be like fire type.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you have the options. This is definitely
like
a
Prima
team.
can tank if Moonblast if need be, right?
Yeah. I think this is a tier team or second tier because you have to be throwing to build a bad team around Dragapult.
For sure.
Like if there's a Dragapult in there, you have a top half team. Mm-hmm. More likely than not.
I'm gonna chuck this at the top of. I would guess. I mean, we haven't ranked any other teams, but I would guess this is like a top of tier 2 team, if not like a bottom of tier 1 team. We'll have to see how things shake out. But I like his team a lot. It also looks. I mean, this shouldn't count for much in PRs, but this team looks like a lot of fun to play.
It does.
Alrighty. Anything else, or we move on to next?
No, I think we're good to move on.
Next, Happy. So, what jumps out to me on this team is that we're kind of conflicted. We have this like Sun path. The Valiant is like just a good Mon on this team, like a good stuff Mon. And we have like a couple of out of place Mons. I feel like if we could just clean it up a little and focus, I'd be way more on top of it. Or like way more sold. That being said, I like a lot of the Mons here. Just as like standalone Mons, I like them a lot. I know talking to Happy that he liked the Valiant Celesteela alt core, and honestly, I think I do as well. So I think if my initial take is build around that core a bit more, maybe we cut the Sun stuff, get a different Terra cap. That's my cap. That's my take initially, at least. How do you feel?
I feel like on paper, weather like looks best when you have a secondary option or can run it without Sun. Like Happy's
that is
trying
pretty
to do.
true.
But I feel like in practice, you either commit or you don't, and that's how you get the best results. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think I've ever seen a half weather team succeed, and that's nothing to Happy. Happy's very talented. I can definitely see him making out and proving me wrong. It's just that
it's just odds, the nature of the gimmick.
It's the nature of the gimmick.
I will say, a lot of these like Sun-based Mons work outside of Sun. Which is not something I may have initially looked at. But I don't hate like a Protosynthesis, or sorry, Booster Energy Wake, or like just any Sandy Shock. Sandy Shock's just a good Mon. Lilligant,
Wake, Sandy Shocks, and Lilligant are just very good Mons in general that get buffed by Torkoal.
So I don't hate that.
I guess it's not like necessarily half Sun, but it just feels like it is. Mm-hmm. You know? Like I feel like at best it wants to run Sun.
And like, I'd like Umbreon, but I feel like when he bought a Premier Cleric in Altaria, like it frees up Altaria to be on like a sweeper role if you want a Cleric on top of that. But these like last 3 Mons, I'm not a fan of.
I mean, the thing is, Umbreon's like a top tier wish passer.
For sure.
But like you're only wish passing to maybe Celesteela for sure.
You're passing to Steela, like maybe Wake. I could see like the dragons, because the dragons are like pretty innately bulky.
I could too, but like
I don't hate it as a Mon. I just don't feel like it fits very well here.
Yeah,
but like
Ice Cube, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'd love it better with the Chili Reception. Then it could actually legitimately maybe be an impactful defensive Mon. Mm-hmm. Like, I lost a playoffs game due to Snowscape Ice Cube. Like, if you don't prep for it, it genuinely is and can be kind of scary.
Yeah, I've seen that Mon put in work.
But yeah, I'm just surprised Celesteela went round 2. I'm not gonna lie. I was planning on
You
using
got
it.
sniped on that? Yeah.
I mean, not really like snipe because it was just an option. It wasn't something I was
Yeah.
hard set on, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt a little. But yeah, the team is
I will say, I
it's a
feel
bunch
like,
of good standalone mons. I'm worried about, especially outside Sun, how well they will be cohesive and work together.
yeah,
If that
like,
makes sense.
I feel like we're probably slamming the team a bit more than we feel like we should, because, like,
Yeah.
this team is going to win games. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
for sure.
Like,
If you have a bad matchup to Sun, it's just Jover.
yeah, absolutely. And, like, it's pretty hard for Valiant to be bad, right? Like, you
I
can just
agree.
have Valiant on any team. It's, like, fine.
Additionally, I was just going to mention the Giraffe Rig. Like, I get it. It's a type thing. You didn't have normal, didn't have a psychic. But, like, Giraffe Rig's best two things, in my opinion, are setting Trick Room, especially with Eviolite, it's setting Trick Room and Wish Passing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you already have
We
Umbreon,
have
and the
2 wish
team
passes.
does not fuck with Trick Room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I get it's like a 1 pointer, I think maybe 2, or you might bring it once. But I'm just questioning the legitimacy of it and if you could have gotten better value out of the last 3 picks.
Mm-hmm. Something to, like, really tie together the 2 halves of the team in the last 3 picks. But that being said, I don't hate the team at all.
I don't either. I'm thinking this is a lower end playoffs team for now. I mean, it's hard to compare anything. I've not seen most of the teams,
Yeah,
so
I would put this either. I think I want to put this at the top of a few holes.
I'm fine with that too.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, I think Happy will absolutely take some games with this team, and I don't hate it at all. Lots of great mons on that team. Alrighty, Cole. Now this is a team with a lot of demons on
This this passes the JSauce vibe test with
it. Yeah.
flying colors. It's just a bunch of hard hitting, momentum spamming mods. That's some shit I love to play.
Mm-hmm. You have like the Zoroark fast pivot with the Scizor and the Slowking slow pivot. Grimmsnarl for Grimmsnarl for screens.
Landorus, Arcanine,
Yeah,
Zapdos, just click buttons.
yeah, and like screens letting Lando set up like Rock Polish or Scizor SD for free, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I were to complain, my complaints would be in the speed tier department and these last 2 mons or last 3 mons, because like I don't hate Galar Zapdos. That mon is phenomenal. But I feel like if we had just like spread out these last 3 picks
Mhm.
a little more, we grab like a
We're
110.
yeah, we're budget berries now.
Yeah.
So I was gonna mention that's what my main gripe was is like you have a good first 6. The value of getting a good 7th versus 3 good
Yeah, like a 7, 8,
mons or
9.
3 fine mons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was worth to grab Zapdos Galar when something maybe like Flamigo was on the table at half the price.
Yeah, exactly. I would have
And
loved a Flamigo here, actually.
I think something like that also just naturally fixes the speed tiers
Mm-hmm.
because you have more
Because you'd have
fluctuation,
Flamigo in
more
like the Haunter slot,
options.
right?
Yeah, and then you could get another 7, 8 pointer probably,
Mm-hmm.
and then a 1 pointer. That being said, this team is
Scary.
absolute demons, and
I love the Terra Arcanine too.
I do too. That mon is
So good.
I don't even have a word to think of it off the top of my head. Absolutely diabolical.
Mm-hmm. Like it can perform all of its roles on this team too, right? Like it can be like the default
Mhm.
sets are obviously the banded sets, right? Your Terra Rock,
Yes.
your Terra Fire, your Terra Normal banded sets. It can be like a support mon on this team. I feel pretty easily, right? Like the Morning Sun, Will-O-Wisp, Stealth Rock sets.
Oh yeah, it's definitely best click being the offensive set, but it could
Like
very
it's on a
well
team with enough
support
other
this
things that
team.
can click buttons that if it's
Yes.
not the week where it needs to click buttons, it can set up rocks and stuff, right?
Yeah, and then you could do like Terra Bug, Flash Fire, Terra Grass.
Yeah.
if you're facing
Like
like
intimidate stuff.
Chiyu, which I don't even know if we allowed or if it got picked, but
Yeah,
you can run
Chio's
like
on.
Terra Fairy, Flash Fire,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
kind of Shimon it.
I like it. I think this is definitely a playoffs contender team.
It's in the contention. I think it's on the same level of Happy,
I would
because
I
if
would
it's
put it
just
in the same level as Psy.
okay, I can see that. I'm just worried about matchup. If you, because I feel like with this team is top heavy, but it's more top heavy than what I normally use top
Yeah,
heavy. And I know whenever I was using top heavy teams, if I had a bad matchup, I was cooked automatically. And this is somehow even more top heavy
I
than
feel
that.
that. I'm also, you know me, I draft a lot of top heavy
Yeah.
teams. And it
Slow
has that
King,
problem, right, where like these two mons will oftentimes not exist. And your opponent will oftentimes
yep.
just prep for like your top 7. They'll be able to identify like one mon that just can't come. They then know your exact 6. It can be a little
Slow
rough.
King, Slow King better be named Atlas because that motherfucker's gonna be
He's
carrying the
carrying
world on his
so
shoulders.
much weight on this team. And it will, but it
It
has to.
will. Slow King is great at it,
Like
but
Scissor or Slow King's a great 2-mon pairing as well. Like your
oh,
Fizdef, your Spadef.
I did want to touch on the quote unquote lack of special attackers. So obviously Zoroark can. Landorus is going to be a great one with
Mm-hmm.
sheer force. But that's Haunter and Slowking.
Lorantis
Slowking
as well.
is well, I guess Lurantis. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But like Haunter, Lurantis
Mm-hmm.
might come 1-2 games apiece,
Mm-hmm.
and Slowking's never going to be invested that much.
Yeah, this Landers is going to
So
have to pull a lot of weight in the
it
special
is.
department.
It really is. Zeraora is fine. It just doesn't do as much damage as you'd like.
Yeah, and it wants to just be clicking Plasma Fists, right?
Yeah, it wants to be clicking Plasma Fists anyways. But that being
I don't
said,
hate the team.
um, yeah, I'd
I
say
th-
it's lower tier of the playoff contention
yeah,
or
I
will
would put it
make
like middle to
playoffs.
bottom of the will make playoffs set.
Well, at the end of the day, we're only having 8 teams in the top half, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
we're
I'd be
going
willing to
to.
put a lot of teams in the top half if there's a lot of good teams, because then it's just about who's playing the best, right?
I would
But for
too, but that
now,
kind of feels like cheap. Not gonna lie,
okay, fair enough. Yeah, we'll see how things go. We got a lot of teams to rate, right?
we do. We
Um,
have 13 more teams, so
for now, I'm gonna have Cole like at the bottom of the will make playoffs. If
that's fine.
we decide to drop it later, that's cool. Okay, Ren's team.
Hmm.
We uh, we have a problem. That is ice
I keep
mons.
it 70. I keep it 75 because stealth rocks are up.
I keep it 75. Yeah, and our removers don't want to be removing.
Hey, at least we're
Like
in that deck, so
the
Torn and
Therians
Lando are
can.
premier defoggers.
Yeah, but they don't want
But
to be
like,
running it, right?
no, Torn more so is gonna be the main one. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's a Ferrothord which loves to be setting up hazards.
Yeah. I don't hate the team though. Like I like the identity of like pivoting. Like half this team is just pivoting Blacephalon in, and then
Yeah.
something fucking
So
dies, right? Like
yeah, Aloe and Ensign were great mid tier picks for this team because
absolutely,
both.
absolutely.
Uh, I mean, Aloe wishes up, the first 3 picks
Mm-hmm.
as well as
And Incineroar.
Incineroar.
Yeah.
And then Incineroar lower stats for Blacephalon to just come in and click buttons, or Lando can sword stance or something.
Mm-hmm. Our Firewater Grass Core is incredible.
I agree.
Like defensive Firewater Grass Core. I
I'm
love Terra
just
Blacephalon. I think
a
it's so
little
cool.
skeptical of having more than one genie on a team. Now,
Yeah.
assuming that there's all three is kind of a bit, maybe not a bit is the correct term for it, but like, well, one, there's no Enamorous.
True.
Uh,
And that one was up.
it was. But overall, I mean, wasting 3 picks on 3 high tier mons just for them to be together is kind of hype. I think building
It's pretty
around
hype.
that, I don't know how well, it got built around those three Pokemon, but in terms of just actually building a team with those three Pokemon, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
You know what this feels
Like
like to me?
what?
This feels a lot like like Cole's team, like the last team like that. I would love
Yeah.
to see just like these three Mons be something else. Like I don't feel like we need Blissey because we have Aloe, and Aloe's just better Blissey, right?
Yeah, I just with how prevalent hazards are, especially in Gen 9, like I know this is not decks, so they're not as big of a deal, but just the nature of Gen 9,
Yeah.
hazards are huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just a little worried about
And like Incin
everything
would
getting
love to be
shut
on
down.
AV and stuff, right? Like Torn would love
Mm-hmm.
to have a different item.
Incin and Torn both love AV.
Blacephalon is never
Aloe
running
loves
boots. That motherfucker's running Specs or Scarf.
yeah. Aloe and
9 out of
Pharaoh
10
might
weeks.
have to run boots a lot more than they want to.
Yeah. I would love to just see these three replaced. Like the bottom three. Because
Yeah.
I
Maybe
love
Thunder
this
Spirion can
first set,
be.
like 6 Mons. I think this first 6 Mons are crazy.
Double Fire's a little sketch for me, but I don't hate it because they do different roles.
Yeah, they're like an offensive and a defensive fire, right?
Yeah, I would have loved to see a Rapid Spinner though.
For sure.
Personally,
Yeah, I agree.
overall the team isn't bad though.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad.
I think it's more I think it's similar to Cole's as an idea, but in terms of where I'd put it, I'd say it's closer to Happy than it is to Cole.
For sure. Okay. So retroactively, having judged this team, I would like to do this. Because now that I kind of see what you're saying. Like if the team has holes, it has holes. That's okay. We just put it in the tier that has holes.
And we can always
because I still like these teams
at the end. Yeah, we can always move them at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cole going back and forth between here and here. I think Cole's team has more raw power, but given that it has the same kind of problem as Ren's, I'm just going to put them both in this tier. But I mean, let's be real. The important part of this is not the tiers. It's like what we say, right?
Yeah,
like the screenshot at the end of this is like the least important part.
Yeah, I'm a tier Tommy though. I prefer power rankings and tiers than
for sure. I'd rather do it like this than
actually like rankings like lists, but people never want to do that. They like give arbitrary numbers.
No, I think this gives you way more information. Right?
It does.
I'm gonna rename this.
And it makes me feel less harsh too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just gonna rename this to a couple Mons short. Like all three of these teams.
Yeah.
I just want to see you fix up the last couple picks and you have like a banger team.
I agree.
Because I think all these teams will take games. I don't know, man. I don't want to trash anyone's team. I like what everyone's done.
So far.
Right. Also, I'm excited to see this Blacephalon kill like everything. This Mon is just going to come in on like a good turn and kill a family of 4.
Yeah, before it killed itself by using Mind Blown.
Mind Blown. You should blow your mind now. Alright, what do we got next? Kuroko. I'm going to let you take this one at the start because I have opinions.
I'm not digging the triple water. This is the first thing.
That's where I would start, yeah.
I get it. Like, they're not necessarily the same Pokemon, but they're not necessarily different.
Yeah.
I like the first 4 picks. I just would go a different direction afterwards.
I don't hate 2 waters. Like, if we stuck with the Azu, and even the Azu and Gera are not different enough. Like, Gera wants to be paired with, like, a true defensive water. And Azu wants to be paired with, like, a true defensive water. Even though it can be, like, fat Azu sets with, like, Restock, Rocky Helmet. It wants to be clicking Aqua Jet with a Choice Band, right?
I hated using Azu when it was my
as your fat
OP
water.
water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like Gira is fat. I don't know if you've seen Mega Gira's stats. It's
No,
just
it
Umbreon,
is. It is.
but it doesn't have like recovery. It doesn't want to be like it doesn't have any
Yeah.
reason to want to take hits, right?
Yeah.
Double fairy here, and like, am I coping or is gouging fire just better Petra? Right? These are like very similar mons.
I don't see them as similar as all, but I can see where you're coming from, I think.
Like if you look at these stats,
Oh, stat wise?
like
Eh.
they're both these like fizz def, like 90 speed, kind of bulky setup mons, right?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, hey, if he wants to play with Petron, by all means. But I love the Deoxys speed. I like Sylveon Wish passing to Gouging Fire. That's pretty sick. Like Heal Bell
like
support
said,
for Gouging too.
I think with Gouging and Pekarot, I think they definitely work. You gotta have a flyer or levitator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your grass resist dies to a fucking bulldoze from Onyx. Like, I don't know. I like parts of this team. It's just,
yeah,
I would have went a different direction.
I agree.
Speed tiers. I know I talk about speed tiers being overrated all the time, but
my god, these are rough.
Yeah, and no trick room setters, if I'm correct about that.
We can check.
I think I am.
Is there a way to check in here?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
Oh, I just saw it.
It's got a lot of doubles.
Can you like
moves?
Can you just type it? Yeah, you can.
Oh my, that would have been so nice.
The Bruxish. That's why the Bruxish is here.
Holy shit!
And DOS can trick room and teleport.
Honestly, not bad.
Okay. Yeah. So what I would want to see here,
than the rest.
We've slammed this a lot. Let's say what we would want to see. Because for me personally, I would want to see like we keep the Gouger, the Dio, the Sylve. I don't mind the Terra Metagross. And like we can keep the Gira or the Azu. And we scrap the rest for parts. We want like speed tiers in between Dio and Gouging Fire. And I just want to see like Gouging Fire be able to do whatever it wants in a given matchup. You know what I mean? Like if it's a DD bot, which I feel like on this team it's going to be a DD bot, and I feel like it's going to underperform in that role.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I say keep the first 4, scrap the rest. There's enough points there to get enough utility mons. You know, get a flyer, again, flying type / levitator. Maybe it's a Roto-Mo angle.
Is Mo up, do you know?
No idea.
I think it got taken because I think I was looking at it.
That's just the first one that came to mind.
That kind of mon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, I know Wash is taken. But just, I don't know. I feel like
cleaned it up, right?
Enough, as much points as Azu, Metagross, and the rest take up, there's an infinite number of ways to just restructure his team to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally,
like a defensive steal instead of an offensive steal.
Yeah. Additionally, there
and a ground type, please.
Yeah.
We have maybe 3 like waters and no ground.
Maybe it's like a Scarmangle.
Yeah.
Scarm is up, I think.
Like, yeah, I love Sylveon Scarm.
But yeah.
At that point, I'd want to see Petron go, but maybe I'm being too negative on it. Because right now, Sylveon's our only split F-Mon, right? But I mean, we could fix that just by cutting the bottom half of the team.
Yeah. I just don't love how top-heavy this is. When I feel like it's not made to be a top-heavy team.
It's like a top-heavy team that doesn't look top-heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the first 4 look good, and then it just feels underwhelming.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like Gouging Fire was built around.
Yeah. That's fair. I feel like there's more than a couple months short. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think I know where we're going with this one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Where is he? Do I not have his picture in here?
Oh my god, you don't.
Oh my god, it's so Jove. Bear with me, people.
Let's go, scuffed. This is gonna be scuffed.
Never scuffed.
Always scuffed.
We are so back.
We have never been more back.
Alright. Boom. Alright.
Alright. Who's next?
Kev's up next. Oh my god.
Hey, I'd be willing to bet 10,000 on black what they're going to be clicking. What Kev's going to be clicking.
Buttons?
Trick Room.
That's pretty true. That's pretty true.
This is a Five Nights at Trick Room team.
Honestly, I didn't even see that at first glance, and I like it.
I just see Ursula, Blood Moon, Mawile, Hatterene,
Iron
and
Hands.
yeah, and I know what to prep for.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I fuck with the team outside of Trick Room.
Yeah, like a Trick Room team needs fast Mons. And like the Scolipede, the Ogerpon, Whimsicott, Excelgor are gonna pull work.
And the Selgor, Scolipede. I don't know if both get regular spikes, both get toxic spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Whimsicott can come in, encore something, and then Hatterene, you switch out to Hatterene and put up a Trick Room.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like this team outside of Trick Room upon first glance.
Yeah, like
a little bit of a rock weakness between, the two bugs and Overpawn Hearthflame. But I just think it's very solid. I didn't notice the 4 fairy types. That's very comical.
it's pretty funny.
But you have Hands, Overpawn.
It's pretty funny that there's
Ursula.
4 fairies and they're all unique. There's no overlap in like roles.
Very different, to be honest. I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
there's not a lot of type diversity, which feels like something I made up to say to rag on this team a little bit. But like Dark and Dragon and Ghost are all very good types in draft.
Yeah.
So I'm a little skeptical to put this really high up. Between that and then the stats, which again don't hold that much value, but it's a good place to start off in a draft.
Mm-hmm.
Just aren't supporting.
I mean, like the stats are like the stat averages are a little bit nuked by the fact that we have a Clefairy, but like we have 10 Mons,
Fair.
so it's
Fair
automatically
enough.
better than like the 9 Mon teams.
Honestly, I may be a hater, but I would love to see more momentum with Trick Room.
Absolutely, yeah.
I guess Hatterene gets Baton Pass.
I feel like the Excelgor. I don't know how to feel about the Excelgor.
It gets Final Gambit, so it's an automatic J-Jet.
That's pretty funny.
Love this mod.
Okay, so
I've ran Final Gambit on it a few times.
I like the Trick Room angle. I feel like we have one too many Trick Room demons.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you wanted to go Blood Moon, Mawile, Trick Room, we should maybe just have like 1 or 2 Mons in the middle speed categories. Because even if...
Oh my god, I just looked at the gap.
Yeah, right?
It's either that or a secondary Trick Room mod over like a Selgor or Whimsicott, in my opinion.
Like a second setter?
Because like, yeah, you look at the latter Trick Room
let's do the
teams,
thing.
and it's
Whimsicott can set it.
Whimsicott gets it. That's a little crazy.
That's
not gonna
pretty
lie.
funny.
But still, like, well, 1, how often are you bringing it on Whimsicott? 2, you look at the ladder teams, which I know is completely different from draft, but the ladder Trick Room teams have at least two very good setters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with how slow the team is anyways, and how valuable Mawile, Ursula, Iron Hands are in Trick Room, I feel like that's just something you want.
I feel
like this team is either hyper offense fast or hyper offense Trick Room.
Yeah. I feel like
I
we
as well
could
would
cut
love
the
to see
hands
some.
and use that budget elsewhere. It's like,
I mean, yeah, I love the first five, and like,
for sure. I
but
love
I
the
could
first five.
see
I love the wins it got.
outside of the first five,
Don't
I
hate the
could
queen.
definitely see just wiping the others and finding
Mm-hmm.
unique. Because
We're
like,
never gonna convince Kev to drop Clefairy. It's not happening.
oh no, I'm not trying to say drop Clefairy. I'm just saying between Whimsicott and Selgor, you have three types you already have. Which I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying doubling up on types is bad, especially when they're so different from their counterparts. But it's just, I don't know.
I
There's a
feel like
few
the
types
hands
we'll
is
love to
occupying too
see.
many points.
Yeah, it's probably what 14,
Like this hands could have been a. I think
15.
it's higher on our board. It is 14. Yeah. Like this hands could have been like a Pessimian or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then
There's
we
a lot of
have.
valuable fighting types. This
Yeah,
this
exactly.
could have been a Flamigo.
Yeah. Oh wow, this could be a. Yeah, I would love for this to be a Flamigo.
This is a great Flamigo team.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
Gives
like
you a flyer, a fighting type, and a mid speed tier
we just want to
with
fix this
U-turn.
like canyon in the speed tiers because
Yeah.
it's letting anything that is like 90 to like 60 speed, 70 speed run full bulk, full like modest or adamant,
Yeah.
whatever it wants, right?
I'm going to use an example only because I know like Iron Crown is 98 speed and with pretty good bulk on paper. Now, ideally, you'd want to invest in it
Mm-hmm.
for it to be good, but you can just invest everything in bulk on like Iron Crown, and then all of a sudden it gets incredibly difficult to kill.
Like versus this team or in general?
It in general, like
Mm-hmm.
well, versus this team, I suppose, because the gap is so big.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually Iron Crown doesn't run much bulk because its speed tier is so important.
And
But
you
like,
really
there's a
want
lot of
like
mons like the Pixies, base 100s.
yeah, because like
Just
Scolipede absolutely hates when mons like that are allowed to run full bulk. For example,
yes,
like this Scolipede that wants to end the game really hates
E-
the fact that
even
this speed canyon exists.
even like Throat Spray, a Selgor, which I've seen, or Specs,
Mm-hmm.
hates that as well because those are two pretty good cleaners
Mm-hmm.
outside Trick Room, and honestly, so is Hearthflame. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, you let not necessarily impressively bulky mon be able to run full bulk, and it just lives a hit and kills you back instead of you being able to one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's enough. Like I would say it's a couple months short, but
I think it's
if
close. It's probably at the top of a couple months short.
yeah, if played right, this can definitely be top of um, playoff contenders,
For sure.
or what's it called? Will it make playoffs? Yeah. If played right, it will definitely be at the top of that tier, I think. All right,
How's
so
this for now?
We can put the next team in champion material.
This team looks like a team that was drafted by a very handsome man. I just get very handsome vibes from this team.
I
Can I
do
get your thoughts on this
too.
matter?
This guy seems super based. I mean, like, who the fuck drafts Darmanitan Mega Absol in 2024?
So true.
But
So this is Jay's team for any audio listeners. This is Jay's
yeah,
team.
but
I
I'm
like your
just
team. I mean, we talked a lot while you were building it. I like your team a lot. I
it's
have, you know,
just
that I have the turtle plus scream in SPS. It's an
it's what
absolutely demonic
inspired me to
combo.
get it
Yeah.
because I hated facing up against it. I did not want to face up against Screamtail anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of facing Screamtail.
Like
And
we
I have
have a ton
experience
of
using it,
rockers. We have
and
a ton of
it's
momentum.
great.
Uh,
This is a little bit of a JSauce
all right. So
classic.
how do we find something to criticize? I gotta find something. I can't just be jacking you off for like 5 minutes. We gotta find some.
I
Okay.
mean, you can. 5 minutes is a little long, but for me typically. But
Okay. I feel like the Darm may have to carry a lot in terms of immediate damage.
Yes, it's
That
Darm and
being
Mega
said,
Absol.
it can and will.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
Matt from Life Orb, Darmanitan with Terrifier is doing.
it's
What
putting
was
up
it? It was
Victini
50.
numbers.
It was 56 minimum to max Rotom Wash.
Jesus
It
Christ.
2 hits KO Skeledirge.
Oh my
It's
god.
crazy. Like
Yeah. Probably underpointed. I know I taxed it. I don't know what I taxed it at.
14. It was 11-14 with Terra. Which,
I
to be
love
fair,
Victini, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Arcanine was 11-16 Terra, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will say the one thing about
Yeah,
this
this should have been like
is
a 16 Terra. But I don't think it
the
changes that
one
much.
thing.
You just drop the Cricketune.
Yeah, I dropped Cricketune, find a 2-point Terra instead of a 3-point Terra.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the one thing about this team, I will say, one, it has a little bit of lack of momentum for me. Obviously, we patched that up with the later Mons, but in terms of the first 5 Mons,
Yeah.
not. I
You've
don't
got like
think any of
Ogerpon
them wants
U-turn.
to bring. None of Screamtail or Ogerpon wants to bring momentum every single week.
I don't hate U-turn on Ogerpon.
I don't either, but if you're running a setup set,
Yeah, yeah.
or it just doesn't want to click it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like a list of random mons that you'd get in a randomizer, which I don't hate. JSOS drafts usually are like that, but I've just not used a lot of these mons. Like I'd grab some comfort picks like Screamtail, Ogerpon, Bellybolt,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say, because I think the people outside of Wish don't know, my goal for this draft was to build around Mega Absol,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why it may look a little funky. Um, but I'm very happy with it overall.
I like it. We don't switch into ice moves very well.
No, but what the fuck is an ice? What the fuck is a good ice type?
There's like a few. Iron Bundle.
No.
Um. Oh, okay. Sorry. I do think you actually have a pretty rough ice weakness.
I definitely do, but not real.
And like a flying weakness. We have like a really bad flying weakness.
Nah, we have Gudra and Young Vase Lord. That shit is getting deleted.
I will say you have a bunch of great wish targets.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I
Like having
and that
drafted
actually brings
Scream.
it up. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Sorry, I am
No, it's
interrupting
okay.
you. Go
No,
on.
it's okay.
Okay,
Having
you want to go
drafted
ahead?
Scream, it can be passive. Like that's what people say about it, right? Is that it can be passive. That gets worse when you don't have things that absolutely love getting wish passed to. This team does have a bunch of mons that love getting wish passed to. The Tusk, the Turtle especially, and the Gudra. I don't even mind it on like Bellybolt. You proactively wish, go to Bellybolt, it eats a hit, procs Electromorphosis gets healed. So
I
we're getting a lot of value out of Screamtail for sure.
Yeah. Admittedly, when you brought up the Screamtail point, it kind of triggered something in me. Not my epilepsy, but it triggered something else. Uh, this team is a little defensive for my liking. I play
This is
a
more of a
good
me
mix
team than a
between.
you team.
Yeah, I play a good mix between hyper offense and balance. Um, I just like to call it standard offense,
Mm-hmm.
and this is more of what people would call balance, but what I would call semi-stall, because
Mm-hmm.
I believe balance is getting overused these days. But I don't know. I would love to see a little bit more removal because Tusk and Terapagos aren't fitting it every single week.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially not the turtle. The turtle hates running rapid
Yeah,
spin. That's like the biggest trap people fall into with it.
yeah, and just I don't know. I wish I had some better special attacking bonds
Yeah, we don't have a lot of immediate special attacking
because
power
like
outside of Specs Belly
most
Bolt.
Specs Belly Bolt. Most the special attackers on the team are walls. So they're not getting invested in most
Yeah,
weeks.
Screamtail is like a nothing attacker. It's not even a special attack. Like this.
Yeah, but like Gudra has a fine enough stat. Same with Belly Bolt. Terapagos
But it's not enough
actually
to break
has.
through walls, right?
Yeah, they have enough, but not enough to break through walls. They get good chip, which is good, but
And
something
like with
sets
better
up a
removal, you
sub,
could
and it
be on
might get.
offensive item Terapagos, right?
Yeah, Terapagos. I'm surprised it's got 105 special attack because it feels like it hits like a truck.
Yeah, Terra Starstorm is a hell of a move for a move that has no text.
Yeah, fucking Cursula is an is an AI mon, auto generated. It's
What is the
not
stat
real.
spread?
Between the stat spread and the moves it gets, it's fake. It can't be real. And it fucking has two dog shit abilities on most sets it
The
runs.
ability is so cool.
No, I know, but when you're running Strength Sap, Will-O-Wisp, and then you just Perish Body and force to switch out,
Yeah.
it kind of wants to sit, and it can't because the abilities won't let it.
I like your team though.
I do too.
I think I would either put it at the bottom of top tier or at the top of bottom tier. Or at this tier.
Oh, Wish, you're too kind.
Where would you put it? Because I think I'm a little biased towards your team. I like your team a lot. I was thinking like you.
I've not seen most of the other teams, but I mean, from what we've seen, I genuinely do feel like it's a step up from any other team we've seen. I don't mean to sound that to be cocky. I just think that this was a clinic of a draft by me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm good with putting it at in the second tier.
I just realized something. We're missing another
What?
team.
Oh my! No, fuck Blue Sheep. He already has enough champions.
He's already here.
Wait, he is? Oh wait, he is. What'd you do?
We missed my man Scully.
Oh.
Okay. This is where I'd put you for now, but I do see what you're saying. So where would you like to go?
I'm fine with just leaving it. We'll make playoffs for now because things are liable to change.
We may just put a lot of teams in. We'll make playoffs and have to talk about what we would bump up later, which I'm okay with doing if you want to do that.
That's true.
Alrighty. Mr. Sheepifer, 2-time reigning champion.
And motherfucker drafts the most cringe team I've ever seen for the second season.
Yeah, one of my Coco. Ew.
Terrain.
At least he didn't full commit.
Yeah, until you think that, and then you switch in your bulky water on a Mega Blastoise Terrain Pulse and get fucking
That is pretty
deleted.
true. That is pretty true. That Terrain Pulse is pretty based. I will not lie.
It's gonna hit like a fucking fighter jet on your bulky water.
It's pretty cool.
I genuinely dislike the team after pick 5, though. Personally,
I don't know what we're doing. I mean, Porygon 2 is a very sheep mon. This mon is not allowed within 100 meters of school. So, like, I get that he wants, like, a defensive backbone. I don't know what we're doing with these three men. I don't know.
I mean, if he stepped out of his comfort zone drafting offense, good for him. But I just don't think Ogerpon was the move.
Yeah, and Guzzlord doesn't really do anything. I don't like this mon at all, if I'm honest.
I don't either.
Having prepped for this team, because I play him week 1, I would love to see these three, and maybe even the Porygon go. I'd love the top 5. I think the top 5 are great.
I fuck with Meowstic. I think screens are... Well, I don't know how I feel.
Do you know if Morgrim got drafted, though? I think Morgrim's up right now because I dropped it.
Oh, wait, you had it?
I picked it up in draft and then dropped it. I think he could take Morgrim. It's just better Meowstic.
It might be up. Yeah, but that's a point wasted on something you might need.
I guess.
But yeah, Morgrim's just better in every single way. I guess Coco can run screens as well.
Yeah, I would just rather have screens on Coco.
For as offensive as this team wants to be in electric terrain, I'm just not selling myself on it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Trends doesn't abuse it as much as I think it should.
Yeah, it's really just Moth and like Hawlucha that are benefiting a lot, right?
I agree.
And like we have the speed tier problem.
Yeah.
And we have a severe hazards problem. We both don't have very good removal outside of like. Actually, our removal's fine. No, our removal's fine. But our setters are pretty. We just have treads, and having used a ton of treads, it's like my most drafted mon this season or this gen. You want like another rocker. It doesn't want to always rock.
Yeah,
you want to at least have the option of running other moves.
I just think the points of Guzzlord and Ogerpon at least could be allocated somewhere else.
I agree, 100%. Especially in different speed tiers for the
absolutely aids, and it gets teleport, right?
Porygon, yeah.
Yeah,
teleport,
I think that's
recover,
why I hate it so much.
Toxic.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like
it also could just be on like a cheaper, tanky normal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Porygon's fine.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
If we want so points, many good fighting resists anyways.
But yeah, the Guzzlord, the Ogerpon, and probably the Meowstic should be allocated elsewhere, I feel.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it is a couple mons away, but it's better than most of the teams we put in that tier.
The thing is, like, it's electric.
Sheep could fucking throw the draft and still end up top 2.
Yeah, for
so now. Like, I may be a little biased.
My initial inclination is to put this into playoffs contender. I like this. Do we like this more or less than size team?
I like it less, personally.
Maybe I'm just biased because I lost to Coco this week and I'm about to lose to it again.
No.
So maybe I'm biased. I think Moth is a terrifying Terra Captain. I know you're lower on it.
No, I'm lower on it, having used it, but having faced it with Terra, Jesus Christ, that mon is unholy sometimes.
Yeah.
I've played Mox against it, and that thing just spirals out of control so quickly if it gets one boost.
For real?
It's unfunny.
But I don't hate the team at all, and like it's terrain, it's going to be hard for it to not win games, right? But
yeah. It will win 4 games off matchups alone. I'm not
for real.
So I'm fine putting this middle of. I'd say we could. I'm fine with splitting between me and Sai.
That's where I would put it. Alrighty. Squalisapod. Alrighty. How do we feel about this one?
I don't know. I'm trying.
I agree. Because I don't hate this.
On it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. You know what I mean? I think
we're missing identity. Like the fact that we're not sure at a first glance is, I feel like, because we're missing identity.
Well, the first thing my eyes navigated to, I'm not gonna lie, was Lele Scizor.
Yeah, I don't love Lele Scizor.
I don't either, but then I see Lele with Mega Arrow Iron Bundle, and I completely understand the Lele pick.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I don't hate that.
I don't hate Scizor Rotom either, but I just feel like I love some of the cores, but they're 2 separate cores that don't want to get brought together necessarily.
Yeah, the Scizor and the Lele opposing each other.
But then you have Scizor, Rotom, Heat, Jellicent supporting each other.
For sure. If there's anything I don't love, it's the Zygarde.
Yeah.
But I'm also just low on that mon in general.
I genuinely think that the team might be a little too defensive for Psychic Terrain. Although I guess you're only getting 5 turns, because I doubt you bring Terrain Extender.
Yeah, this is just going to be like a Specs or a Scarf Lele, and it's just going to kill a family of 4, right?
Yeah, it is. Draft a please get a dark or a normal type, though. Ghost Spam is so unbelievably, terrifying in the first place. And now,
I don't know what's
no dark, no normal. It's
like one of our Terra Captains, right?
Hey man, there's a reason I brought Terra Specs, Cursula, and Trick Room. It's for situations like this.
I'm not in love with the Terra Captains either. I think we've seen a lot throughout the other teams that, part of this league is that the Terra rules are pretty open-ended. You can do a lot of really powerful stuff with the rules in this division, and I feel like they're not being fully abused in the same way on this team.
Slowbro is actually pretty good with Terra.
Yeah, I don't
It's
hate
not
it.
to the level of what we've seen. It's more so the Piloswine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, but with the point total with Terra Tech or with Terra, I believe it is 20.
Yeah,
Was
they're
it
both
20 or
10s.
19?
He picked 2 8s
Okay,
and capped at
yeah.
20. Yeah, because they were both taxed at +2.
It incentivizes you to pick some low mid tiers, like in that 10
Mm-hmm.
range. But a lot of people went high, one low, and I think
I think it pays off a lot.
it does.
Like, we compare this to, like, Sheep has Iron Moth, right? Cole has
Yeah.
Arcanine, Sai has Okidogi, Ren has Blacephalon, which, by the way, is going to Shamone this team if we don't Terra Normal. Please. We need a resist.
The funny
I
part
mean,
is
Bundle
Slowbro's
just
not even a
revenges, but
horrible Terra normal
yeah.
Pokemon.
Like,
So
I don't know how to feel about this team. I genuinely don't know how to
it
feel about this
just
team.
it doesn't trigger any emotion in me. It's just I'm completely neutral.
Like, part
It's
of me
just like
wants to put it in a couple months short, but I don't feel like it's a couple months short. The other teams we've had in a couple months short have been like, we have a strong game
couple
plan that
months
fell
short.
off in, like, the bottom 3 months.
This is just
I don't know
like
how to feel about this.
it's not a couple months short, but it's less powerful than the teams above.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say top of couple months short would be where I'd place it.
But, like, do we like this more than, like, Kev or Cole's team? Because I like Kevin Cole's team and, like, Ren's team more because they have, like, an identity. They have, like, a
True,
game plan. I'm not really
but
certain what the game plan is here.
I think you
But maybe
can
I'm
make
being too harsh.
good enough game plans. Like, I
Just
mean,
based
like
on the
Lele's
matchups.
not coming every week. Scizor, which will frees up Scizor,
Mm-hmm.
and just stuff like that. I think, despite not having an identity as a team, like as a full 11, 10 Mons, I think matchup to matchup, it can definitely have an identity, and I think that's why I'd put it on the higher part of a couple months short, even though it's not necessarily a couple
Where would
months
you
short.
put it?
Um,
In between who?
above or below Cole, or above or below Kev, I think.
Above or below
Because I just like
Kev?
it
I think I
better as a
like
team.
Kev's team more. I would
That's
put it
fine.
here.
I think as a full team, I like it better.
I'm not sure how to feel. I could go back and forth on
Yeah.
this one.
I think the team actually works together well. It's just like it's
We don't
like
have a lot
this
of
is gonna sound
momentum.
harsh. It's mid. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that sounds absolutely horrible, but it's just
I just don't know how to feel. I know I keep saying it. Sorry,
it's
it's probably
it,
really annoying, but I
it's
don't
it's the
know.
Joe Flacco of WDL drafts.
I I don't know how to feel because, like, I look at Cole's team. I think I like this more because this scares me. I don't look at this team and feel scared. Maybe that's
That's
me.
true.
Maybe that's a me issue. It could be a me issue.
No, I get that. I think we move Cole up one.
I think I.
Yeah, I would put Cole over Kevin. I think or Kev.
Really?
I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it.
I like this.
I like this lineup. Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable with this. How do we feel about Ren versus this team?
I think
Doesn't this
I think
has like a game
Skull
plan?
Spot has it.
You really?
Yeah,
I'll
I
trust
think
you.
the Mons. I think outside of Scizor Lele, the Mons complement each other a lot more.
Yeah, we have a lot more diversity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk with it.
So time to move on to Dax.
Dax. Okay, So what jumps out to me about
Damn.
this one is I don't
It's my
love
worst fucking nightmare.
these three.
Yup.
Yeah. I feel very conflicted about this one. I don't love Terra
Really?
Vikavolt. I don't. I think these Terra Caps. I think they're a little bit better than the last team we looked at, but I think they are a similar problem. I'm not scared of these Terra Caps.
Yeah,
They're good
I love Colossal, but like
as your second Terra. I love
yeah,
Colossal as a backup for a Mon that's gonna like Terra most games and kill people. I don't know. I feel like you can just draft Vikavolt without it being your Terra captain.
I agree. I don't know.
I've ran into the problem myself where my Heal Bell Cleric removes Poison Heal from my Gliscor. I did that a lot in speeds like 6 months ago. That being said, we have a very strong game plan.
I think
It's hard to deny these three.
Looking at it again, I think Terra Volt's fine because I think you want that secondary special breaker, especially one that Shamones water types for golds, because strong water types are good for the first four.
Yeah, you're right.
Are good against the first four, and having Vikavolt to just Terra Electric and fucking send that shit to Saturn is fantastic. It also can Terra Ghost as a lead if you're not bringing Golden Go that week.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I like it a lot defensively with Golden Go and Glamora because of Levitate.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more versatile than people will give it credit for, but the power level just isn't up to a lot of the other mods. But I think that happens. It's just a Gen 9 thing, wherever offensive Terra Caps completely outclass defensive ones.
I think I would love to see the Torn, the Odd, and potentially the Moon go. I don't hate because the Odd isn't heal belling anything on this team, right? Gliscor doesn't want you to heal bell. Gold can't be statused, and Vikavolt is probably like your only recipient. It's like Vikavolt or like Terra Colossal.
Yeah, it's
Tornadus. I'm not a fan of at all. I've never seen this mod do anything, if I'm honest. I would
know.
love to see a Mon other than Palafin and like probably cheaper than Roaring Moon that could take advantage of the fact that we have a truckload of hazards up at all times.
Torn, honestly, isn't horrible tailwinding into like Banded Palafin, Golden Go, and even Vikavolt. But I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical.
I just hate singles tailwind.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't love the double flying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like we don't need a flyer. We have a Gliscor.
I think you combine Tornadus and probably
and
even
Moon.
Colossal or Odd.
Yeah. I don't hate the Colossal. Like the Colossal could stay, the Colossal could go. I'm not really sold either way.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
But
It's
I mean,
fine.
we already have so much. We have Glamora and Gliscor, the best hazard setters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we really need a third.
It's like here for like flame body stuff or like flash fire defensive Terra stuff, right?
Yeah, but I think it's expendable.
It could stay or it could go. And that means it should just go.
I do like Roaring Moon on the team though, even though I'm not a fan of them on in general.
Yeah, like I've been saying drop it, but it is really good on this team.
I think Palafin being base 100 and your third fastest mon's a little sketchy.
Yeah,
now, granted,
it's very similar to my team.
Booster speed, Palafin, Jet Punch. It's just, and you do have webs, but like, if webs are up, that starts to get a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we've not even talked about Hazard Stack Goldengo, which is obviously the identity of this team and what makes it so strong.
Mm-hmm.
This team is putting stuff on a timer, and with Vikavolt with Roofback being Terra, and then Gliscor and even Palafin clicking Jet Punch.
Mm-hmm. Like this is a team where Gliscor can set up too.
Yeah, I saw SD and Jill Gliscor win a game today, 6-0.
Yep.
and it can definitely do the same thing on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is. I think it's about where I am. I don't know
Yeah,
if
like
it's a
I'm
true
not a fan of
finals
especially these
contenders
two.
yet.
Yeah, like it's definitely will make playoffs. I think with a couple changes, it would be a championship team. The problem is like, or not the problem. The thing is that like the game plan and the identity of these top three is just so crazy. It's so good,
Yeah,
and
and
like
then
it's hard to
talented.
argue with.
Right.
So
Oh,
like even though I've complained a
additionally,
lot, it's just a good team.
I
It's
know what I was
scary.
gonna say. I was going to say maybe you can get Colossal to be a more of a little bit of a premier water breaker,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a Terra meta game where something a bulkier Pokemon can just Terra water and only Vikavolt can beat it.
But like I feel like
Then
we
it's
could just have
kind of
Vikavolt
sketch.
and then have like a premier Terracap. You know what I mean?
Maybe I
Like, doesn't this
like
team look a lot better if we do that?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time,
Like, how
um,
would it look if
we're
like
already scratching the barrel for points anyways after the first four.
that's pretty true.
Like I would love to see it, but I expect Vikavolt to put in some work, maybe not as much as like the top echelon of
Like,
player
yeah,
captains, but it's gonna do what it needs to on this
like
team
it
for
seems
sure.
fine. I'm just not like impressed or blown away by it. You know what I mean?
Fair way,
Whereas like I look
fair
at some
enough.
of the other Terracaps we've seen, and I'm like, yeah, this is scary. This is what
Yeah,
people complain about when they complain about the Terra mechanic.
no, I get that, but yeah, I think this is another one of the
One of the
mid to
better
top
teams.
will make playoffs team.
Do we like it? I like yours more.
I think I like
Do we like it
it
more or
more
less
than
than
blue.
Sheep?
I think I personally like it more than sheep, but I can see both ways.
Yeah,
Because like this
I think
team
I like Sheep's more
abuses
just based on the Terra.
fair. I just think that this team abuses its strengths with hazard and hazard blocking more than sheep's team
Abuses electric
abuses
terrain.
electric terrain.
You're right. Yeah, these two, I'm not sure. These two are so close for
They're
me.
pretty much the same ranking for me. Like we can move on though to Chimera.
Where would I put these? I'm gonna leave Sheep higher for now.
Okay.
Chimera's team. This is scary. This is some scary shit. My God.
What the fuck does Grass Pelt do? Is that I want to say it's +1 defense in grassy terrain.
Yeah.
Is it actually? I pulled that out of my ass. Let's go.
I. This is scary. We have great. Like this is a team where surprisingly Jirachi is on like a supportive role. Obviously, it can still be in the Scarf role, but passing wishes to Agron and Toyce and Tinglu, very good. Terra Crest, hard to argue with. It can be passive, but oftentimes it's just going to click Calm Mind a couple times and be unstoppable.
Am
Demands a
I the
lot
only
of
one
prep.
who would have? Am I the only one who would have loved to see Bulu? Like
Well, they
Rillaboom probably
had
clears, but
Rillaboom.
you have it now. Oh, they had
They
Rillaboom
dropped
and gave it
Rillaboom.
up. Interesting.
I liked Rillaboom a lot on this team.
I love Rillaboom this team, even if you didn't bring like Sneasel. Even if you didn't bring like
Unburdened Sneasler. It's still like with
yeah,
Agron, with Zerk.
between Agron and Jirachi
Yeah, Jirachi.
and Tinglu's not running Earthquake every week. I think I would have loved it a lot more with Rillaboom than
Mm-hmm.
without.
That being said, very scary team. We don't have. How is our momentum? Zerk, Toyce, Jirachi, Sneeze. It's like decent. It's
Yeah.
not blowing me away, but it's pretty decent. We're very
Well,
high
and then
Fizz-Def.
yes, the one thing I was gonna say, I would have loved. This team is a bunch of sitters. Got Magron, Cress,
Tinglu.
Tinglu. And they all just sit there. So I like the hazard situation isn't that bad because they're sitters.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just would have loved to see a little bit more momentum for the
Stuff that can
sitters.
get like Cress and Zerk in on a dime as well,
Yeah.
right? Like
Something that can bait in the stuff that Cress gets a free +1 in, or a free +1 on.
Yeah. Thing is though, like I like all these mods.
I
don't
do. I
I
like
don't
all
see
of
like a
them.
weak link. You know what I mean?
No. I like all of them individually. And I think all of them are bringable.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the Go-Goat's doing, but it's actually got somewhat respectable special bolt.
It's like a decent
So I don't
second
hate it.
Terra.
Yeah, it is. It just doesn't have any coverage, which Terra fixes.
Mm-hmm. And it's like because we're like decently top heavy, so it's just our last like cheap mon.
Yeah, I mean, what? This is just a 9 mon draft?
Yeah, it's like an 8.5
Yeah.
mon draft.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm fine with 9 mon drafts.
I think
when they're
our current
spread out
rule
like
set and
this.
point system really incentivized 9 mon drafts.
For sure.
The Terra rules, especially.
Terra Crest needs to kill itself.
Yeah, because nothing else is going to do it.
If I face this mon, I'm bringing 6 taunt mons.
That's
the last time I faced Crest, I used taunt encore. I used like taunt SD Ogre Pond with like encore shell or taunt shell smash barbarical and shit like that, and Crest still got 3 kills.
Mm-hmm. Like Crest is, and if you're not doing that stuff, it just ends the game. Like Crest is a very scary like noob stopper mon as well. Like if you let this thing calm, it's a lot like what happened last season with your Raging Bolt, where like if you're just letting this thing calm mind and you're not phasing it out and you're not hazing it or whatever, it's just gonna get out of control.
That being said,
and it'll look like the mon when it was actually a problem with your prep.
Yeah. That being said, Raging Bolt has like over 50 more special
attack.
Yeah,
a lot more immediate damage.
Crest literally needs probably 5 calm minds to 2-hit KO most bombs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just unkillable without crits a lot.
But we do have immediate damage. That's the thing. We have immediate damage.
Oh yeah,
to make up for
Zerk, we got Sneasler,
Bandit D-Knight.
Dragon Knight. I'm thinking this is a mid to low. Will make playoffs, but I think it's gonna make playoffs.
It's an absolutely yeah. I would put this in between.
Ooh, I think I like it a little less than Dax's, especially without a grassy terrain mon. Maybe we could get Thwacky instead of Go-Go, although Thwacky might be outside of the point range. Terra Thwacky is also low-key a demon.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how to feel about this. A lot of our will make playoffs teams, like we said at the beginning, that I thought I was at the top of that tier, but it turns out that we just have like a ton of really good teams. I'm not sure, man. Where were you saying? You were saying here?
I think it's on par with Psy, to be honest.
Yeah. I like it at least as much as Psy's team, which I should say, I still like Psy's team a lot. I know we've put 3 teams ahead of it. I still like Psy's team a lot. I think I like it a little bit more than Psy's team.
Okay. Rasta Pasta.
See, Mo did get drafted. Okay, I'm not going insane. I like this team a lot.
I wasn't sure.
I like this team a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Arctazol. I honestly wish Arctazol was a Terra Cap. Salamence is obviously a demon.
I love the Terraments. I love me some Terraments.
Terraments is amazing, I'm not gonna lie. But like Arctazol with Slowking is genuinely one of the most underrated. Like Slowking obviously is a top tier mod, but people think about Bax and Beartick
Yeah,
being the predominant.
abusers.
Yeah, and Arc Result is,
Yeah,
in my
people have
opinion,
forgotten how this
the,
mon
the
is.
deadliest of the three, and it's the most underrated.
I like this, and I like Arctazult, and I like what's the other one called? Arctivish.
Um,
I like them
yes,
both probably like as much or more than some of the other
no, I like Arc
abusers, just
Result
because like they're
because
cheap and the moves are crazy.
yeah, I like Arc Result way better because Stab Bolt Beam literally has no switch-ins.
Hmm. And like you don't have to set up to do damage.
No, you don't. Bolt Beak Terra Electric is doing like 45 to resists.
Our defensive core here is incredible.
Mandibuzz, Glow King,
Runamo,
Mo.
Gleezing.
Yeah, this is just.
I'm not in love with Aggron, but like we needed a rocker. This is going to be a super reliable rocker. Terra
I
Aggron.
mean, Aggron with Terra. I mean,
Yeah, actually,
we've
I
seen
fuck with it.
Avalugg with. We've seen like Avalugg with Terra pop off. I know they're not the same mod, obviously, but I imagine
Aggron's
Aggron
just
being a little more
boomer
defensive.
Avalugg, right?
Yeah, I expect it to be a little bit more defensive in a Terra role than offensive,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it's going to do similar things. And then you have a little Sand Slash in the back, sneaky little Sand Slash. I like.
Mm-hmm. I will say my one complaint. I'm allowed one complaint. My one
Yes.
complaint is our premier speed, which would be most likely like our the peak speed we're reaching is Slush Rush, Sand Slash, and it's contingent on Chili being up. Now that's not like
Mhm.
hard to achieve, but I do love seeing like a premier speed mon on drafts.
I do.
That being
The
said,
leg has agility, but it doesn't want to click every week.
mhm, and
Like
like
there's
Mens can
options.
DD, like Mo can be on
Lycanroc
Scarf.
Dusk Cryo hits like a brick.
Absolutely. I think
I
this is
fuck with
probably
this
my
team
favorite team
heavy.
so far. I think
I
this
would say
is probably
this
our
is.
first top tier team.
I think this is. This could be hater energy. I think this is one or two, probably one momentum mod away from being like absolutely outstanding. Because we have obviously we've got Slowking, which is like the main one,
We're
but
missing like an
Mandibuzz is
offensive momentum mon, right?
yes, exactly. Mandibuzz and Rotom are just like there. Like neither Rotom's gonna bring it every week it comes, but how many weeks is it coming?
A lot. I mean, this mon's very good. I'm a big fan of
I
this
mean,
mon.
yeah, but with how many premier mons there are, it's sometimes it's just hard to fit. I would say this
Yeah.
is a top tier team though.
And
Probably
it's
my
like a
favorite
little
of the
awkward that we
pick.
have two slush rushers. Like, you don't always want to be on two. Like, we could probably just only have one of these. I guess we want the Sand Slash because we wanted a spinner, right?
Yeah,
Which I don't
I mean
hate, honestly.
it
Spinning's
could
for
be like a
max.
suicide lead as well.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but yeah, this is a
I
top
like
tier
this.
team.
I think this is either
Pull
as
that
good or
shit
better
back
than
up.
either team. Sorry?
Pull that shit back up. The team.
Oh, sorry.
I just want to check typing. So I noticed two psychic types at the beginning. I'm not a fan of that, but I don't
Yeah,
absolutely
not
hate
in
it.
love with that.
Oh, no bulky water, no ground type, no
Okay.
ghost. I know. Typings are very
No, I'm just trying to see, like,
type basing
what are we
is
doing?
very like weird.
So,
Obviously,
like,
but
what's
I'm
switching in
just
on an electric move here? It's like Mo. Mo is like a
it's
decent
Rotom
switch in. And like Aggron's
arc
going to be Terra Water if it's coming,
arc
right?
result sometimes.
What's switching in our fire move? It's like Fat Mints. You're right. The typings are a little awkward.
They're awkward, but I think that I think how good the team is going to overcome
I
those
agree. Yeah, that's how
struggles.
I feel as well. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Especially Terra Ments loves like Terra Water as well, just because it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fat Ments is very good,
Oh, this is
and
tough, man. Do I like this more or less than your team?
it's also a great Terra Ground Mon, by the way. So
Absolutely.
it rips through steals. I like for the sake of me not for people not screaming rigged, I'm gonna say that this is just top tier, and well, I mean I do think it's top tier anyways, but I'm going to audibly say that it is better than mine.
This makes me want to bring your team up with it to championship. Like, I want to do something like this.
I have no comment about that.
I think this is how I'd like to do things for now.
Okay.
For now, we'll see. We'll see if we want to make changes.
Large Tove time.
Large Tove, big Tove. Holy
big
shit!
Tovey.
What am I looking at? This is
bro got 3 picks in and said, "Nah, fuck it, we're going Rain now."
I mean, I think that's how you should. You should like see if Rain's open and then draft it. Is my stance on it. Okay.
Terra are true. Oh my god.
I would love to see Urshifu and potentially even Chomp offloaded for more points elsewhere.
I can see that. I mean, there's 5 water types, which is very comical.
I think we went a little overboard on the waters.
I don't love Volcanion just because you already have Arch, Basculegion, Swampert.
Isn't Zapdos up? I would have loved to see a Zapdos on this team.
I want to say Zapdos is up.
Brother man, you gotta get on that. Or if like
yeah, Zapdos is up because
what's his name?
Juicy doesn't have it, you don't have it, and Crook doesn't have it.
Yeah. And if the other alternative, if you want it, is if Ren drops Thundurus Therian. I could see that being your Thunder user as well.
Thundurus Incarnate is not bad.
That as well. I don't even hate Thundurus Incarnate.
And it's probably the same price as Volcanion, if not cheaper.
Mm-hmm. I like having 2 Swift Swimmers. I think that's fine.
Jolteon also did get picked.
Yeah.
And it gets Weather Ball.
I'm not in love with. I like Spidops here a lot. I'm not in love with the Lantern, the Volk, the Chomp, and the Urshifu. There's nothing wrong with this Urshifu. I just think you're overpaying for it on this roster.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it a lot.
And like, I don't think we need the second Dragon in Chomp, but it is a very reliable rocker. It lets Archaladon be AV.
To be
so
fair,
is Swampert.
Chomp was picked when Archaladon was a King Gambit.
Yeah.
I think it was like before. Been dropped. I don't know. Because you got Swampert, you got Archaladon. I think maybe it's a Premier Fairy angle.
Yeah, like I would have loved to see a Fairy.
Holy shit! Is this an M team? Mayhaps.
Maybe. But I would love to see like a Wish Passer for Archaladon. Like I know Sylveon was taken, but this would be like a Sylveon team, for example. Or like
this is like an Alcremie team or some bullshit where you just get a budget Wish Passer.
Like an Odd. We don't have a normal. We could grab like Odd for this team.
Odd or
But that being said, like I'm criticizing, but it is very strong.
I mean, Mr. Sloy demonstrated just how devastating Rain can be. Right.
Do you know why I call him that?
I do not.
Well, A, because he hates it, and B, because if you take dial out of disloyal, it leaves you as sloy, and that's because he's always dialed in.
That's fucking awesome.
It's so stupid. It's like the dumbest shit I say, but he hates it, so I keep saying it. He DM me because you said it in awards, and he DM me is like, "This shit has to stop."
No. Now that you told me that,
shout out Dis, we love you. Hope you're listening, buddy.
Not stopping.
Can't wait to get a DM about this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the 6 you're bringing is like Pelipper, Legion, Swampert.
Yeah, exactly.
Archaladon, and then 2 of like Spidops, Urshifu, Garchomp. Well,
like I don't think the Volk or the Lantern need to be here.
No,
I think the Chomp and Urshifu could be like offloaded. I will say, Chomp being another ground that resists or is like neutral to water is pretty decent,
I
right?
think I like Lantern if we're not on double ground. Having Volt Absorb on with like Pelipper or some shit actually isn't horrible.
Yeah, but the Volt Absorb could have been like, I mean, obviously it's not up, but if Ren drops it, the Volt Absorb could be Thunderous Therian.
Or Jolteon with Weather Ball.
Yeah, honestly, Jolteon. Because, like, another problem, just like Rosta's team, is our speed tiers. Like, if we're not in rain, we don't have amazing speed. That being said, it's pretty easy to always be in rain.
But if Pelipper dies early,
yeah,
shit gets shiced. Whereas Glowking does not die.
Like, I'm complaining about things that I feel like I don't need to be complaining about. You know what I mean?
It's very
like, how am I complaining about Garchomp and Urshifu? So I don't know how to feel.
Well, I think it's because we get nuked by fairy types.
That's pretty true.
Which honestly, having Volcanion resist that while still benefiting from rain is kind of hype. But
yeah, but it could have just been like a poison.
Off-putting,
right?
Yeah. The poison's probably a better angle here. Hell, even a steel type, we don't have a steel type, or we have
Outside
a steel type that's neutral. I think we're being very nitpicky.
We're being extremely nitpicky because this shit is so scary.
I think this might be a lower tier of the
championship.
We'll make playoffs tier, though.
I think it's definitely top 2 tiers. I just didn't know if I wanted to put it in champion or will make playoffs.
I don't know. Go back to Mara's team real quick.
Yep. Do we like it more or less than this? I'm not sure. I think Mara's points are distributed better.
I think
like Tove's team has more weak links, but this has a stronger identity.
Less than Mara's.
I think I agree.
Go back to Tove real quick. I want to see the removal options. Yikes! Yeah, put it underneath.
Underneath
Mara.
Yeah.
Because
do we like it more or less than Sai's team? Let's throw Sai. We ain't been throwing Sai. Bro got first seat bullied. I like this more. I don't know. Can we look at this team again? This is a great ass team. We liked this team when we first talked about it.
We did. I just now looked at the removal options though. It's sketch. I mean, you're not weak to Stealth Rock, so it's passable, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Do we like this more or less than the Rain team?
I think I like Toast better than Size. I'm not gonna lie. If he knows how to play around Pelipper, if he knows how to keep it alive.
It got 3 kills today.
It did get 3 kills today.
Alright, let's alright. We'll do that.
And I'm not going
I feel so weird because I love Sai's team and then we've put like 6 teams above it.
I feel bad.
Yeah, because I love Sai's team. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't know. We should come back to this and talk to it at the end because I feel like I like the identity of this team. I like this team a lot. I kind of want to move it. It's so hard because I like all of them. I mean, that's the idea. These are still like the top tier teams. I like all of them.
Yeah.
This shit's tough, man.
Yeah, get the fuck out of the kitchen, Crook.
Okay. So I will say, for him doing the bit,
committing to the bit.
This is about as good as the bit gets. Look at the type weaknesses. Are only like bad weaknesses to flying.
I agree. For it being a bit, it's a very good distribution.
I like this team a lot. I'm gonna be honest. But maybe I'm biased because I just like a lot of the mons on the team and like.
Yeah. I mean, the walls are walling. The offensive mons are putting big pressure up.
Yeah, like having access to all 3 of the Gen 9 starters is really good. Chuck and Cinderace, you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, Chuck and Cind, and then Swamp to
set up
rock over the electric types for Empoleon and Quack.
I don't know, man. For a gimmick team, it has a strong argument.
True, but at the end of the day, it is a gimmick team.
Yeah, and the speed tiers,
Like,
we do have premier speed, but the majority of our team is like 80 and below.
I feel bad putting this low, but at the end of the day, it's unfair to judge this differently because he won to move around.
I agree.
So I think this is one of the lower teams, but there's no doubt in my mind that still could win games.
Where would we
I know
want to put
Crook can be talented.
Absolutely.
I want to put and Get Out of the Kitchen just because it's funny because he's obviously cooking up a bit, but realistically, it's probably just a couple. But like, how are you a couple months short when you commit to the bit?
Well, like, we have to evaluate it as if he's not doing the bit.
I guess you're right about that, but then it's more than a couple holes. It's more than a couple months away, and that's how we judged who Kuroko's. It's more than a couple.
Do we like this
away.
more or less than Kuroko's? I kind of like this more.
I agree.
That's rough. Okay, I like it though. I think he's gonna take some games, especially because like Crook can cook. Like, so if he builds well, I feel like this can absolutely take some games. I would not be surprised to see him in the playoffs.
Is slowly becoming slowly creeping up on one of my least favorite mods to play against.
I would not be surprised if Crook makes playoffs with his team, like at all.
I wouldn't either.
So
speaking of, I just want to throw it out there that power rankings aren't everything. I've seen.
Yeah, we should have said this at the beginning.
Yeah, I've seen people have literally the worst ranked teams in power rankings and win the whole thing. Like,
I'm gonna make sure that's in the video description. Like, power rankings aren't everything.
I've seen people
I like all the teams,
like their entire teams because of the power ranking.
I've done that.
Please don't do that. Just because we named.
If you like your team, that's what the game's about. The game's about having fun.
If you fuck with it, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. I'd rather you play with mons you're comfortable with than mons you're not comfortable with that might be theoretically better.
Unless you play him.
True. Alright. Second to last, Juicy.
Big Juicy. So this is the team I faced.
You played this, right?
Did you want me to bring kind of my thought process while building?
My initial thought process? I just want to dump my initial thoughts. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have like repeats.
Yes.
Like Ape into Buzzwole, we're spending like close to 30 points on 2 fighting types. We have Slash, but then we also have Ape, so we're spending like 30 points on 2 ghosts. Yeah, exactly.
Or 35 with a Buzzwole and Ape.
But like, Alone 9 setting up screens for Ape. But
it's very terrifying. Ape and Buzzwole benefit from it. And I guess DNC does too. But I almost lost to not prepping enough for bulk up Ape under screens. Mm-hmm. Like, it's terrifying.
Like, I don't think the mons are bad.
Yeah, the thing I decided that I want to exploit, I have a couple of them. One is the speed tier.
Yeah.
Because Mega DNC can't hold Scarf. Alone Ninetales is never going to have speed boosting. It just doesn't.
It's not how the mon works. So your fastest Scarper is Ape. Scarfer is Ape.
Secondly,
like Wash.
Secondly, I decided to exploit the Ghost weakness.
Yeah, we have a gigantic.
Was it 3 months weak technically because Shedinja? Mm-hmm. No resistances, no immunities, and mons aren't necessarily bulk enough to be taking really strong ghost hits. Really, it's like DNC before
what's Mega eating a Moonblast here? It's like Aegis Slash,
and that's it. The main thing I decided to exploit is that Ape, Buzzwole, Tangrowth are all obviously very daunting physically to take on, but motherfuckers do not take an Air Slash or anything.
Yeah.
Any special moves, kind of Shimon. Those 3. which are big parts of his team because you know this is mainly just 7 mon. This is like a 7 mon draft,
Yeah, for
and
real.
if you exploit, if you have that, if you have Jesus, English is hard. If you have mons that can exploit that big of a hole in a 7 mon draft, realistically, it's going to be
Especially
hard
seven
to
months that are
lose
so
if you could.
condensed.
Yes, it's going to be hard to lose if you have a game plan for the better mons, like
Yeah.
stuff
Ape,
under
Terra,
a
Buzzwole.
Lola Veil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Additionally, I want to bring up hazards because Mega DMC doesn't love to be hazard set.
Yeah. And Ape doesn't love it
Uh,
either. Like, it can run it for sure, but...
oh yeah, but that's like Wish Cash Money, which is the logo pick. I respect it. Unironically, a
Mhm.
very good pick. I just see duplicates of a lot of holes. Like I see mods that do the same thing, and
Yeah.
I think when you're spending premier points, I don't think you can afford to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh. So it
I,
just made it
yeah.
building for it. Um, if you're playing offensively, felt a lot easier than prepping for it defensively. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because, like,
Like if I'm
any
playing,
Scarfer, they can
yeah,
click Shadow
any
Ball.
Scarfer, any mon above 110,
Yeah.
or any strong mon. Like the team is especially, yeah, that especially on the special side, I should say, um, really lacks anything taking a hit.
Hmm.
So the team isn't bad. It just duplicates a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Like, I would love to see you pick, like, keep one of the ghost types, keep one of the fighting types,
Yes,
drop the other,
and
like keep...
I don't think Tangrowth is doing shit. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't hate it. I would just love to see, like, a fire to round out, like, Rotom Wash Tangrowth. Um,
I'd love to see something that takes on steel type moves as well, because a lot of
that
things
isn't
get like
Aegis
Iron
Launch.
Head,
Yeah.
Flash Cannon, and against
Like,
especially if you're
your best switch in
faster,
is, like,
and then
Wash or, like, Tangrowth, right?
yeah, if you're faster than Mega DNC,
Oh, yeah.
and you have Iron Head or Flash Cannon
We have two
as
4 times
coverage,
Steel Weeks, right?
yeah, that's the point I'm getting to. Oh, and also one remover for Shedinja is a feel bad moment.
Yeah. That
Get like
feels really bad.
Frogadier or like Pig Knight or some shit.
I don't know. I think we offload points, and
Yeah, that's
we
definitely
really
the
want to be
best
less
plan
top
of
heavy.
attack. That's the plan of attack is just find stuff,
Like,
offload
Whiskash
some
is
points.
fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. But, like, if we could offload,
Wish Cash is good, but not as an 8th mon. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
if you want it to be your 9th or 10th mon, which I think this draft can do. I think if we cut, like, the Aegis or the Ape,
It's just a couple holes away. As most of the teams in the tier, it's just a little top heavy. If you allocate the points somewhere else, it gets a lot
I
better.
do we like this more or less than Happy's team?
I like it less than Happy's team.
I agree.
And I
Do
don't
we
think
like
it
it
should
more or
feel
less
like
than
shit.
Crook's team?
I kind of
I
like
like
it more than Crook's team.
I
Or
kind of
less
like
than
Crook's
Crook's
team
team.
more. Yeah, I like Crook's team
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
Oh,
this is...
I think this last team is going to be made by a really handsome man.
Oh, oh yeah. Thanks, man.
I mean, it's got a Raging Bolt on it, so S tier automatically.
Hell yeah. So this is the redo of my team. I dumped all my fucking FAs before my first game because I didn't make these changes in Grace because I'm a moron. So I sure hope that this team works out well. Um, I Do you want to take this away? I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I will give my thoughts, but I really want to hear your thought process because I know during the draft we talked a lot, but when you were making your free A's, I was kind of MIA or kind of AFK for most of
Hmm.
it. So I would love to hear your thoughts a little bit more in
So
detail.
we talked in draft, you were like pressuring me to, not pressuring me in like a bad way, but you were like telling me like, yeah, you don't need this Clef, man. The Clef is not worth 16 points on your draft. I agree. I think what was bugging me was the fact that the speed tiers for Florges were tying, when in actuality that doesn't matter. I should have probably just taken Florges. And I played a few games. Again, I played against Mara, I played against Cole, just like jamming mocks for fun, and I was really not gelling with Pex. I don't know why. I just was not gelling with like the combination of Corvi and Pex both being weak to electric and being like cornerstones of my defensive backbone because it was a 9-mon draft. I Mara ended up dropping Rillaboom, and I was like, I need this Rillaboom. It's gonna kill grounds for my 2 electric type attackers, Victini and Raging Bolt, and it's gonna be able to soak a bunch of stuff I wasn't able to soak before. Because I was on Torterra as my ground, and I really wanted to split up my grass and my ground. You know me, like the Zoroark probably doesn't need to be here, but I was actually struggling to find like a 110 speed mon. So I don't think it's the worst here. But anyone who knows me knows I adore this mon. I paid him in to draw me with it, so.
Yeah. I just,
hit me. If you be as harsh as you like.
with the Zoroark thing, it does fit well. You know, it gives you a normal and a ghost. Both are pretty important. I know that Wigglytuff wasn't there originally, so doubling up on it wasn't in your mind.
Well, Zoroark I took in FAs because I needed the speed
I
tier.
see. Either
So
way,
I don't know.
I'm just a little skeptical of stuff being able to, how do I put this? Having bad disguises, because like, what's the best disguiser? Is it Greninja? And you just bait Battle Bond?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know.
Like, it doesn't have any dedicated disguises, I don't think, on this team,
Yeah,
but
I think that's fine. You can
yeah,
lead it,
the more I'm playing
disguise
with
it
this
as
mon,
a Araquanid and nuke something.
yeah, like, this is going to come in as like a Terra Fire Victini. It's going to force something out, and it's going to click like Sub or Nasty Blood or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I drafted the team in Crooks League with like several like the whole team was basically like dedicated Zoroark disguises, and it turns out that like it doesn't really matter. Like the mon still like struggles to hit damage thresholds and stuff. So what I actually wanted to try, and why I think it, like maybe this is cope, because I think I'm coming up with a reason after I drafted it rather than before I drafted it. But I think this team has a lot of mons that force switches. So I think Zoroark taking advantage of that could be decent.
It could.
I don't know. You know me. You know I can't help but draft this mon.
I know you talked about originally getting, what was it, Meow, Keldeo, Victini as a core?
Yeah, it was like a core I was kicking around a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Greninja, I don't know how I feel about this mod. I still kind of think it's a fraud, but it genuinely was one kill away from spiraling against my team the one time I played it and absolutely wiping me. So with chip down, it's a top tier, like top echelon cleaner. I just don't know how much I like it. Like, I think Meow's just better.
For sure, but I mean Meow got taken, and I like it as a fast, just like a fast pivot. I really hate playing drafts without like a 120 plus speed mon.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame you. I do too. And obviously, you want to use Victini. You used it in that one speed tour, and all of a sudden,
I've been itching to draft this mon. I've been itching
to
draft this mon for months.
Corviknight just does Corviknight things. I don't think anyone's going to be shocked whenever they see it U-turn, roost, body press, or anything of that nature. Raging Bolt, don't even need to talk about this mod.
This mod is so insane.
I think I probably should, because people may be a little concerned that it's a Terra merchant. Maybe, but only on calm mindsets. Yeah, in my opinion. I think
calm mindsets really value the coverage, but
a whole whole lot of versatility gets unlocked whenever you don't Terra. It can be
What is forced to not
AV,
Terra, yeah.
Specs, it can run Taunt, Roar. All of the moves that gets that are good have much more incentive to be brought when you're not running Terra on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming from someone that's drafted Terra Bolt twice, and
it's
that shit
performed
is
both times.
called mine most game. Yeah. I love Rillaboom. I think Grassy Seed Raging Bolt is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I think Victini benefits from it. And that's it. But the passive recovery is super good on
Mudsdale and Araquanid.
Yeah, Mudsdale, Araquanid, Raging Bolt, even Rillaboom itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna skip a little. I'm gonna go straight to Araquanid. I'm beginning to love this mon after doing some mocks against it. It's always super annoying.
Well, it always looks amazing
way
in Dib's
bulkier
hands.
than you expect. Yeah. I faced it with Dib, with Zeke, who is a buddy of mine in MPBA. He had Araquanid. We mocked with it. It's always just horrendous to face. Like, it was a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really respect it as a bulky water, which is something that Greninja needs, obviously.
Mm-hmm. You don't
And
want
then
Greninja to be
Wigglytuff
underwater.
wish passing into Raging Bolt and Corviknight
And
is
Mudsdale and
very
Araquanid.
good as well. Mudsdale Araquanid, because it might be a Wigglytuff, but it's got 140 HP, meaning you could heal stuff back up from like 25%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Araquanid could get down to like 80% or to 20%, and you just get healed all the way back up to 90.
Yeah, because it has such low base HP. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the team as a whole, I love pretty much every individual mon, especially I don't love Corviknight, but on this team, I love every mon, especially in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom 4 are a little dicey for me, other than Araquanid, but I just don't know how you would allocate the points better.
Yeah, because I'm extremely top heavy.
Yeah, you're top heavy, and you still are lacking a poison and a fighting on top of if you dropped a ghost and a ground.
Yeah, like what am I dropping, right? I just have to take worse mons, which should have been the play, but I should have done that in Grace.
I mean, are you out of free agent moves?
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, so this is the team. Like, there's no other options.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a bottom first tier, high second tier. Like, I think it's in between the two.
I'm glad you said that because that's about where I would put it. I'm very high on.
I'm not trying to jerk you off or anything. Well, I mean, I'm trying to, but like,
I appreciate it.
Not during this power ranking.
My own problems with the team. Corvi is our only remover, and
I didn't peep the speed tiers.
And the speed tiers are not amazing. Yeah, the speed tiers are pretty shit.
That being said, can you type in Trick Room at the bottom? Because Trick Room V-Create is actually kind of shiced. I've used it before. It's only Victini.
I could fuck with it. Hey, thanks to the idea, I could fuck with an OTR Victini.
It's
like
not
Victini
bad.
with Trick Room 3 attacks.
And then you could slap a room service on it or something.
Holy.
If you're worried about getting outsped on the first turn.
I think I like it either more or less than your team.
I personally like it less than my team, but that sounds extremely biased.
We're biased to our own teams, right? Like,
yeah.
Of course I'm gonna like it. It has this dumbass mon on it, right? Like, it has Zoroark on it. Of course I'm gonna like it. I think it has more flaws than your team, but I'm willing to put it here if you are. It's either here or it's like somewhere in here. Where would you put it? I'll let you place it.
I'm fine with that. I think it's higher ceiling than my team, but lower floor.
I'll fuck with that.
I think my team is going to be very consistent, whereas this team could get shafted by matchups a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get matchup baited, which almost makes me want to put myself here. And like I only have one remover, and I'm on a premier like
Ooh,
fire
you
type that
are
doesn't
on.
want to be.
And Araquanid doesn't love rocks.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm fine with either one. I think that looks a lot better aesthetically.
Yeah,
So,
this looks very
yeah.
We have like the playoffs chode. This is very aesthetic.
We do. We do.
But ultimately, like we said, the rankings don't matter at all. Please don't like hate your team because we said mean things. And ultimately,
Please
I think
don't.
our thoughts are way more. Not that our thoughts are particularly important, but I feel like what we said is more important than the screenshot at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That being said, I want to put this out there that this is my first time looking at like 90% of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
I know Wish put in most of the actually all of the teams into the doc.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a little bit more time to think about it, but I was just giving initial thoughts. Obviously,
This is very
I'm not
rough. This is a very rough
yes,
draft.
it's scuffed. I'm not the best at explaining stuff as well as coming up, seeing flaws in teams and stuff. I based off of JSaw's vibe test,
Yeah, exactly.
quite frankly. So
And I'm gonna be honest, a ton of these were super close.
exactly.
Like this, like from sheep all the way to like either Ren or Happy.
I would say happy. I could.
Yeah, I would say Happy as well. Is like extremely close. Myself as well. I think I would throw myself into that bracket.
I think from
I'm
Mara
gonna
to happy.
I'm gonna put me here.
Okay. I think from Mara
yeah.
to happy, especially, I could see any variation of the next 8.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't bat an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we went a lot over our allotted 1 hour time.
We yapped, but I am happy.
I'm not gonna lie, I turned off the timer after like
hey, we were
the
having a
first
good time.
couple people because I forgot.
So I will just at the very end here. Next week we will be back with our first recap episode. We're going to talk about how we felt about our matchups. We'll have played 1 to 2 games each by that point. We may have a guest, although we may want to fire like one normal episode without a guest first, especially given we'll have 2 weeks of content to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But please, 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 if you're listening to this, drop some stuff in nominations and we will talk about it on the next episode. We would love to chat about what you guys think are like the most heat things you saw.
If you're interested in yapping with us, please hit either one of us up. I believe we're both pretty open to DMs, and I have like no life in college, so ours am on my computer or phone.
You guys know me, my DMs are always open. So
same.
Yeah, if you're interested in being a guest on a particular week or just in general, hit us up. Please drop stuff in nominations. Even if it's your own stuff this early into the season, I just love to see you guys get excited about the season and just would love to see anything you guys are excited for.
And
please drop how you feel about the PRs, either in the comments or in the server. And let us know how you feel. Let us know if you would have put any teams anywhere else. Let us know if you think my team is ass or Jay's team is ass.
Please leave lots of comments for the Instagram algo.
This shit's not going on Instagram.
YouTube algo. My mind has rotted.
PR brains.
Yeah, and if you're in Zora, the low tier div, fuck you. This is Zoroark.
No! I was gonna say, if you're in Zora, also
on.
drop stuff in nominations. And also, why did you watch like an hour and a half, 2 hours of Zoroark PRs?
True.
But yeah, please drop stuff in nominations. Just let us know if you saw like a Heat game or a Heat set. Let us know what you thought about it.
And I believe, I could be mistaken, I believe most of the content on this channel and the podcast are going to be Zoroark focused because, well, I'm the mod of that as well as it's the only one I'm playing in. I have Zora
we're both not playing in Zora.
muted. just because I don't want the notifications, and I still check up on it, but neither one
Yeah.
of us are playing in it. So
I will say I will do Zorua awards at the end of the season on this channel. And,
we will too.
and I
Or
would
we will.
yeah, we will. And I'm not opposed to talking about like anything Heat that we see in nominations on this podcast. It is just the WDL
For
recap,
sure.
but it will be focused on Zorua.
The best thing people in Zora can do is nominate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You guys in Zoroark nominate stuff from Zorua.
It's an easy way to get our attention and talk about it. Because otherwise, you guys might feel a little underrepresented.
Alrighty. I think that's all I have to say.
I'm good to call it if you are.
I am good to call it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. You
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and comment. Jesus.
Hit that notification bell if you haven't already.
Beat the fuck out of that notification bell. I've never ran a YouTube channel, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna make money off of this shit. Anyways,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on mine. So,
thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Best of luck in your WDL season.
Bye.